It's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Open look, Goins, he hits it! What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Hayden, Chicago! Oh my God! Hayden with the overtime winner!
Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6-6 King Cunningham! Jameson Williams, he's got it! Touchdown, Lions!
We are in a happy place. You know, on Fridays, I hope people get that opportunity like us, because we are broadcasting live from Tullymore here in one of the sanctuaries of golf in the state of Michigan. Excited to be with you here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth on a Friday morning. I'm Matt Shepard. Andy McDonald is alongside. 6:35, super excited. Bryce Rayner's one of the best prospects in the Tigers farm system. Andy McDonald sat down with him yesterday, and we'll bring you that interview at 6:35. Also excited because Matt Golden, the general manager here at Tullymore and St. Ives, will join us at 8 o'clock. 8:18, we have the Friday six-pack brought to you by Garage Beer. And at 8:35, a special treat, former NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion, by the way, Jim Miller, and Todd Haley, the former head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, former offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach. I mean, you talk about knowledge of the game of football. It does not get a whole lot better than these two guys. Super excited that they will join us at 8:35. They're getting ready to tee it up here at Tullymore as well.
Is anybody starting on their Friday six-pack out there already at the course?
I started yesterday. I did start yesterday. I started on my Friday six-pack yesterday and had an absolute blast. The owner of our network, Marty Boer, and I were out and played St. Ives. And, God, I love that course. I really do. I love Tullymore just a wee bit more, but I love them both. My sons were very jealous because last time I was here, I brought them. And they asked me just the other day, Dad, when are we going back to Tullymore? And I said, well, I'm going this weekend. Oh, man, I can't go. Well, can we reschedule? Can we do it again? Hey, listen, I hate to tell you this, and not everything is on your schedule. But it shows you just how beautiful it is. They had a member outing yesterday. Whew, they were hooting and hollering last night, baby, inside the clubhouse. It was fantastic. I love to see people enjoying themselves and having a really good time. Speaking of enjoying themselves, how much fun are the Tigers having right now?
They're having plenty, that's for sure.
Yeah, they used 3 homers and probably, I would argue, Andy, the best outing of the year by Framber Valdez. I'm not getting hyperbolic here. I do. I think it was the best outing. But Jake Rogers homers for the second straight game and is the first run of the game for the Tigers for another game against the Athletics. Then you had Zach McKinstry with a 2-run bomb and Eduardo Valencia in his major league debut as a pinch hitter. Big fly, biggest part of the ballpark. Valdez tossed 7 innings, 3 hit ball, 9 strikeouts. By the way, remember what we told you yesterday? We said if Dylan Dingler is hurt and has to go on any type of IL, Eduardo Valencia is the guy because Theron Lorenzo has an injured finger. Remember, he can't play in the Futures game. Max Anderson's taking his place in the Futures game. So Anderson in, Lorenzo out. Lorenzo probably would have been the elevated player, but here's what Eduardo Valencia has done. He had a 19-game on-base streak while in the minors, and he had an OPS of over 1,000, and he had a hard hit rate of 46.5%. He hit that one hard last night, that's for sure.
He sure did.
So 4-1, Tigers win it. Phillies are in town for a weekend series. Jack Flaherty throws against Aaron Nola. This is underrated when it comes to baseball. What is the biggest reason for their success? There's a lot of them, right? I mean, the starting pitching, the power that we have pleaded for 2 years, really 3 years. So many different things, right? Here's another statistic. I know baseball, boom, boom, boom. You feel like you're Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard or Marvin Hagler in the middle of a fight, right? In the middle of the round. Detroit ranks 6th in Major League Baseball in pitches per at-bat, pitches per game, and pitches per inning. Now, I know you might – when you're at home or you're inside the clubhouse here at Tullymore and you're watching the game, you are not counting pitches. I don't expect you to. You are noticing a pitch count by your pitcher because you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, is A.J. Hinch going to pull Tarek School after 97 pitches for 5 innings again? But I digress. They see almost 4 pitches per at-bat, pretty damn good. They see 149 pitches a game. That's big. And per inning, they are forcing pitchers at 17 pitches per game or per inning.
That seems to be a sign that your hitters are maturing a little.
At 100%.
That many pitches.
So they're maturing. It's a really good word. Their hitters are maturing. Here's what they're doing. They're spitting on the right balls. They're swinging at the right balls. And they're staying alive in at-bats by fouling things off. So I'm not asking you tonight when Aaron Nola throws to say, okay, that's 5 pitches per at-bat for Spencer Torkelson. And he actually sees a lot of pitches at-bat, to be honest with you. I know people go like, oh, my God, the guy can't hit an OBP. Where's the slug? You know, he's got 15 homers, plus 40 RBIs. It's not nearly enough. I'm not saying it is. But he does make pitchers work. You're getting pitchers going into deeper pitch counts. And while you and I look at A.J. Hinch and saying, how many pitches is he going to give Troy Melton today before he pulls him? Remember, the other manager is doing the same thing with his starter because Tigers batters are forcing that starter to go deeper into pitch counts. You don't want 1-pitch innings. You rarely get 9-pitch or 1-pitch at bats as a hitter, obviously. And pitchers, you'd love to see a 9-pitch inning, a Bugs Bunny, 1, 2, 3, you're out, 1, 2, 3, you're out, 1, 2, 3, you're out. That doesn't happen very often, right? That's the reason pitch counts for Detroit goes up for Skubal and for Mize and so on and so forth. We're enamored with the strikeouts. Framber Valdez enamored with the 9 strikeouts last night, right? Right, I get it. Because we all want power, just like we want homers, just like we want dunks, just like we want 3-pointers, okay? Just like we want 3 verticals in football, go deep, and I'm going to toss it to you, right? Well, the strikeouts cost you a pitch count. Now, Valdez, in fairness, was really good in his pitch count. He only threw 87 pitches last night. You don't think he could have thrown a complete game? He had 1 a year ago. Or 2. I'm sorry.
I was thinking about that when he got through the 7th last night, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You were thinking, let's bring him back out.
Yeah, I was thinking he can do it. I mean, that's what he did last year a bunch, right?
Me too. I was second guessing. Kyle Finnegan came in, did a really nice job. Kyle Finnegan had a 10-pitch inning. That's a thumbs up. And then Kenley Jansen came in, and you started to squirm, and so did I. It was uncomfortable. The only thing more uncomfortable is probably getting ready for a colonoscopy than watching Kenley Jansen pitch.
That's quite the comparison.
Yeah, it's a struggle because you're constantly, you're moving back and forth, and you're thinking, holy crap, he threw 19 pitches, all right? And remember this, he's given up a lot of home runs this year in a short period of time. But let's not dwell on that. 4-1 the final. Good for them. It's a nice win, and they continue to roll. And if you're trying to figure this out. Every single time they play, here's what we're going to do. You have to do it. They're now 4.5 within the division. All right. 4.5 because they've won 5 in a row. And the wild card, well, we said they had to leapfrog a lot of teams. They're 3.5 back. Now, there are still 4 teams in front of them, or 5 teams in front of them, I'm sorry, to get to the 3rd wild card. But we said we're back in when suddenly this team is within 5 of 500. They are 43 up and 50 down. So they're getting there, and they can get there this weekend against Philadelphia. Pistons had a summer league game last night, an encouraging sign there, more love for a Tigers rookie. And at 6:35, a prospect you want to keep your eye on. Bryce Rayner talks with our Andy McDonald as we roll on a Friday morning from Tullymore on the Michigan Sports Network.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Okay, back with you, broadcasting live from Tullymore. Played St. Ives yesterday. Ready to play Tullymore a little bit later on today. Super pumped for that.
Now, which course did you say you like more?
I like Tullymore slightly better.
And I guess why? I've never played there. People always tell me, like being from West Michigan, that's like the easiest way to get the up north golf without driving the furthest. And
It's beautiful.
So I guess what makes it like that? Because I've never played there. I've always been so interested.
Just, I mean, the easy thing to say is the landscape. It's tucked back away in a nice area where you don't hear cars, you don't hear a lot of traffic. You're at peace. I played with a guy yesterday. I played with Todd Haley and Jim Miller. Neither one had played here. Jim Miller's from Waterford, still lives in Michigan. Todd Haley lives out east. He's from Pennsylvania. Grew up as a ball boy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fascinating stories. But anyway, they're both playing it. Todd Haley numerous times, and he's played all over the world, right? He played at Augusta. He played at the Masters. He's like, this is spectacular. He said, this is so much fun. I said, you're going to love tomorrow too. There's a par 5. I don't know what number it is. I want to say it's 15 or 16. Anyway, Andy, it is so narrow, the landing spot for your drive, but it's almost like a winding road.
That already sounds scary to me, but I like the challenge.
It's scary to me. Needless to say, I was playing out of the rough on both shots. Anyway, it's like a winding road. I don't know what the signature hole would be. That's how much I enjoy it. The very first hole on St. Ives, you got to hit it about 215 yards in a landing area and then hit up to an elevated green, which I love.
That's awesome.
I don't want to rip out my driver in every par 4. I want to be challenged a little bit. So I used my 3-wood about, 4 times yesterday on a par 4, just because I hit it straighter than I did with my driver. But I loved every single second of it except for 18 when I double bogeyed. So double bogeyed mean I didn't break 80. So I shot an 80 yesterday, unfortunately.
I'd take an 80, but
it was great. It really was. It was so much fun. Just real quick, and then I want to get to an early text. Pistons Summer League, they lose to the Sixers. Who cares? 101-93. This is what you want to know. How did Ibuka Okori do in the Summer League? He had 20 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 steals, shot 8 of 17 from the floor. You'll take that. And 2 of 5 from deep. You'll take that. He played 30 minutes and pumped in 20. What do you want to read into that? Not much. It's a Summer League game. He's playing against other Summer League players. He's playing against other rookies and guys who want to be rookies in the league and may not be good enough to get there. But all you can do is judge a player based on who he is playing, and he did a nice job. Here's our Mitch Lineswell poll question. Is there any team in the American League that scares you? Andy's already tweeted it out. Andy was up at 4:15 this morning. He's already tweeted it out. I've retweeted it. Here are the possibilities. Yes, the Rays and Yankees scare you. No, it's wide open. Not yet, but someone's going to add it to deadline. Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We'll give you the results in the final hour of Monday show at 8 o'clock. That'll be interesting because that will be the All-Star break. Kevin McGonigal, Riley Green, Justin Verlander, commissioner's pick, and Dylan Dingler will be in Philadelphia. Dylan Dingler's day-to-day right now. Watch for that. Is he going to participate with the injured hand? He's day-to-day, according to AJ Hinch. Were you more? Let me ask you this: Were you happier that Eduardo Valencia was called up, or happier that Jahmai Jones was designated for assignment? My guess is most people would say the latter.
Jahmai Jones. Yeah, I think a lot of people are happy about that, especially the reaction on social media. It seemed to be.
So somebody else can wear number 18, right? Okay. Here's a text from our good friend Freddie, who joins us every morning, which is great. We love it. Dave Dombrowski and Scott Harris have made 2 trades with each other, maybe even 3. Dave and Philadelphia come to town, and I bet they discuss a possible major trade. Is he going to want Casey Mize and sign him long-term for the next 6 to 8 years? It's a good question. Dave Dombrowski he's never been afraid of doing things, whether it be firing Joe Girardi. Remember, he's landed Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Trey Turner, signed Aaron Nola to a long-term deal, extended Zach Wheeler and made him the highest paid pitcher in baseball. He got Chris Sale, remember, from the White Sox. He got Yoenis Cespedes back in 2014. He got David Price. He got Max Scherzer, traded for Miguel Cabrera. Back in 98 with the Marlins, he got Mike Piazza, then dealt him to the Mets. He picked up Gary Sheffield. Also traded Randy Johnson, but whatever. Jesus Luzardo, right, to a high-end deal. He has not been.
That's a lot of big names.
Those are huge names. Huge names. He also, if you recall, he's the one who traded Logan O'Hoppe to the Angels for Brandon Marsh. And Brandon Marsh is now their regular outfielder, right? He used to be kind of a platoon guy. Now, I mean, they've got him starting in center field on a regular basis. He picked up Edmundo Sosa, who's been a nice role player for them. He's the one who traded for Michael Lorenzen for Hao-Yu Lee. So, and Michael Lorenzen isn't there anymore either. He picked up David Robertson. My point is, he's not afraid to go after big names, or even if they're not necessarily a big name. I'm not saying Michael Lorenzen's a big name. He's not afraid to address needs. So it's a really good point by Freddie. I don't know what it would take to get Casey Mize. And then you have to ask yourself this. With the Tigers on this mini roll, and they're finally getting some national attention. Bob Nightingale's out there doing some stuff, talking about them and so on and so forth, for what that's worth. Are they truly willing to add? It's worth discussing, and here's why. I was reading an article yesterday, the moves that need to be made. Jeff Passan wrote the article. And Jeff Passan has loved, remember, this is the same guy who's talked about the Yankees and no one's going to catch them. They're clearly the best team, and I bet you'd like to retract that. He brings up all the teams in the American League he thinks should add and who they should add. Tigers are not in it. The Rays are in it. The White Sox are in it. The Mariners are in it. The Yankees are in it. And the Cleveland Guardians. Oh, and the Rangers and Astros, too. In the National League, he's got the Dodgers. Weakness, they don't have one. Best match, Tarek Skubal. Dream match, Tarek Skubal. It begs the consistent question. We've asked this more than once. Can you win this division? Hell, you don't need to win the division. Not with the way the wild card is. Can you win? Can you reach the playoffs without Tarek Skubal? You would need Casey Mize to stay healthy. You would need Jack Flaherty to pitch the way he has recently. You would need Framber Valdez to pitch the way he did last night. You would need Troy Melton to keep pitching the way he does. And with Skubal gone, you would need Cater Montero to elevate himself into a significant role as a starter. Can you, and you would lose, here's the other thing you forget, you lose that arm from the bullpen that has been very effective. Can you do it? Absolutely. Should they do it? It's a different question. But I found that interesting that the Tigers were not involved in that article. Now, maybe he wrote the article a couple of days ago and didn't want to adjust because he never anticipated the Tigers being on this type of roll. But I'm sure a lot of people are asking that very question right now. Speaking of rolling, Bryce Rayner is rolling right now, okay, with the West Michigan Whitecaps. And it's been awesome because he's another middle infielder who you want to look forward to watching make his debut someday, just like Eduardo and Valencia made his debut last night. Andy McDonald from our group had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Bryce Rayner. We will let you listen in on that conversation when we come back, right after this, as we broadcast live from Tullymore on the Michigan Sports Network, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Well.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, the season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Welcome back into X's and Bros. We are joined.
Welcome back into X's and Bros. We are joined here by Bryce Rayner, who is a prospect for the Detroit Tigers and currently plays for the West Michigan Whitecaps. Bryce, how have things been in West Michigan lately?
They've been good. Team's been winning. We've been having fun out here, coming out and winning games every day. We're trying to keep that up and in the season well.
Have you gotten acclimated to the West Michigan area yet? Like, have you found anything that's like fun to do? Or I know you've been here for a little bit longer now than the last time I talked to you. So
some of the guys on the team, myself included, kind of one of the main things we do, I'd say, is go get dinner. We go to Gin Gins and Butchers Union a lot. Those are kind of our two main
absolute mains, man. Those are
yeah. Yeah. So we try to get in there every week.
For sure. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the area. Clearly, you've been enjoying the baseball better lately. Obviously, I was there a couple nights ago when you had the. I don't know how many hits you ended up with. Obviously, we have to push against deadline and stuff, so I had to leave. But I think you had 5 hits when I left. I don't know if you had more than that.
Yeah, just 5.
5, just 5. Yeah. So obviously, you've been having more success at this level lately compared to when you first got here. I guess what are some of the what were some of the challenges you noticed about the pitching at this level when you first got here, and what has changed to this point?
Yeah, like you said, started off kind of slow. I wouldn't say there's a huge difference pitching wise from the lower levels up to here. Just everyone's a little bit more consistent and they're a little bit more strikes. But I think it was kind of just reminding myself that I need to have fun while I'm playing this game because it's a kid's game, and just trying to help my team win in any way possible. And that was pretty much it.
For you personally, like with your swing and everything, did you have to make any adjustments? I'm sure you've made some adjustments since you've been there, but like what have your coaches helped you with, and like what adjustments have you been making in the batter's box?
Yeah, no, honestly, not too much besides talking to coaches about, kind of the mental side of things. I haven't really consciously made any changes to my swing. But like I said before, like kind of just coming out here every day and trying to help the team win in any way is the main goal.
Sure. What have you liked about playing with some of the teammates here in West Michigan? Like, what have some of the guys that maybe were on this team last year? I know there wasn't too many that came back from last year, but what are some of the things that people have taught you? And then, your manager, what have they all given you, I guess, throughout this season?
If I had to tell you a specific instance, I honestly couldn't tell you. There's, of course, been things throughout the season that, I've learned from other people, or, we have a great group of guys and we all kind of try to pick each other up. And, I ask people questions, people ask me questions. We try to have a lot of conversation about baseball and, try to learn something new every day. But I would say, from off the top of my head, I would say Garrett Pennington was probably a guy I talked to most frequently. He's played this game for a little bit longer than I have, and he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders, and he's a pretty smart dude when it comes to baseball. So, trying to pick his brain a little bit, and he just helping me out when things weren't exactly going amazing. But yeah.
We're here on X's and Bros right now talking to Bryce Rayner, the number 2 prospect in the Detroit Tigers system, number 79 overall, according to USA Baseball Today. Just another question for you. I don't know how much you got to pick people's brains in spring training, like some of the major leaguers. Did you get to play with any of those guys in spring training?
Not this past year. There was a few, but I wasn't really around the big league guys too much.
Have you been able to talk to any of them at all throughout any of this?
Yeah, I talked to Colt Keith. We kind of had a similar injury, so we kind of talked about that. There's definitely been a few others, but I mean, that was a long time ago. And I honestly don't really remember, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, Scooble was here and threw for us a few weeks ago. So that was pretty cool getting to meet him and talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, what did Tarek do for you guys when you were there? And I guess what did he kind of give you guys advice? I'm sure he talked to all you guys at one point. What did he kind of say to you guys about playing at this level and then maybe moving on throughout the system with the Tigers?
I didn't really get into that with him, if I'm being completely honest. We kind of just chatted. He's a very down to earth guy, and we had some pretty, just normal conversation.
What are some of your personal goals right now at this level, and what do you think that you need to continue to do to move on, throughout the organization to AA and AAA? What are some of the things that your coaches have been telling you and everything at this point that you need to do to keep moving up the ladder?
Coming to the field every day with a good attitude and trying to help my team win in any possible way.
How much more fun has it been? Obviously, it was a little bit of a struggle at first, but how much more fun has it been since you guys have been able to put together some more wins and win some more games?
Oh, it's been great. A winning clubhouse is always more fun than a losing one. So it's been fun. We've been having a lot of fun out here, and we're gonna keep having fun.
What are some of the things you've liked about playing at LMCU ballpark specifically?
I would say the fans. We get a pretty good crowd here every game. That's pretty cool. It's fun having a lot of people up there in the stands, and they're always pretty into the game. So that's been pretty cool.
What have you liked that I'm sure you've at least talked to Scott Harris before? What are some of the things that I've talked to players in the past? They've talked about some of the nutrition and things like that have been great. Some of the upgrades they've made, even just at this high A level, with the Whitecaps. What are some of the things that you've liked that they've had in this organization? Some of the upgrades they've made to help you guys get better.
I honestly could not tell you off the top of my head. I don't really. My job is to play baseball and excel in that, and I really don't even know. There's definitely been upgrades 100%. I just couldn't. I don't really know which ones those are, if I'm being completely honest.
You've played obviously a lot of shortstop at this level. Is that the position that they want you to be at? And I guess what have you learned since you've been here at high A at that position?
Yeah, that's the position that they are having me play right now. And like I kind of said before, there's not specific things I could give you, for example, of things I've learned. I think just with playing more games and the more reps you get, you just pick up things over time, and you kind of add them to your tool belt. But I couldn't really tell you what I've learned.
Obviously, you've been hitting a lot better lately, but so is the whole team. Is that kind of something that just goes through the team and it just kind of has worked well for all you guys, or was there something that ticked, or what has made the difference in your guys' offense being so much better lately?
Yeah, baseball, we're all human. There's going to be times where you're seeing the ball like a beach ball, and there's going to be times where you're not. And right now we're seeing the ball like a beach ball, and we're gonna ride that wave as long as possible, and keep doing what we're doing.
For sure. Obviously, being a prospect that's rated so high, you had a lot of pressure kind of coming in. Maybe you felt it, maybe you didn't. I guess I just want you to take me through that. How do you handle it at this level? Obviously, Max Clark last year, Kevin McGonigal, guys like that were at this level, and they had to deal with a lot of that. A lot of us, people like us, talking to them. How have you handled that kind of side of it, of being a higher ranked prospect?
Yeah, at the end of the day, my job is to play baseball just like every other guy in my clubhouse, and we work as a team, and we win as a team, we lose as a team, and I really don't view the pressure any differently than anybody else here. Sure, there might be more of it, but I think it's a privilege to be able to feel pressure at something that means what you're doing is good, and people are watching, but I don't really view it as something I think about.
For sure, having this organization think so highly of you and stuff, I guess what has that meant to you that the Tigers organization thinks that way about you and has put you in the position you're in right now?
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, but that's their view, and I'm just gonna keep coming out here every day and doing my best on the field.
Seeing the Tigers play as well as they have lately, I'm not sure if they've won tonight yet, but they were up by a few runs. Actually, Valencia just hit a home run in the dead center field, so that was pretty cool. I don't know if you've been able to spend any time with him, but his first at bat, he was able to do that. Just seeing a team that's built with so many guys from this organization. They've had the success they've had over the last 2 years, and now they're starting to get back on the right track again. How cool is it to be a part of an organization like that thinks so much of the players that are within the system? And how much hopes does that give you going forward?
Yeah, no, if I'm being honest, I don't really think about that stuff at all. Like, I try to go day by day and, kind of live in the moment. And whenever I get to that point, then that's when I'll be there. But as of right now, I'm still playing baseball in West Michigan. So I'm going to do my best here.
All right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the time and thank you for giving us your time, because we love to hear from you and we love to see what you're doing on that level, and it means a lot to us.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Andy McDonald and Bryce Rayner. First time we have heard from him. 56 games at West Michigan right now for the former first-round pick. Batting .293. He's got 9 bombs on the season. And in Lakeland, he had a home run there too. So he's got 10 home runs overall.
His 5-hit game that he kind of brushed off the other day and said only 5 hits. All 5 hits were over 100 exit velo. And there's only like 3 other players. It was like Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani. I can't remember who it was that in the minor leagues had 5 hits in the same game with like that exit velo. So it was just a random little statistic, but it was pretty cool. He's definitely seeing the ball a lot better than when he first got here. Like his average being at 293 right now, it was down there when he first started. So he's been tearing it up for sure.
But what's interesting about this, there were a lot of shortstops in that draft. That's the draft. Travis Bazane was number 1 overall to Cleveland. All right, as a second baseman. Chase Burns, who's an all-star, was the 2nd overall pick in that draft. Nick Kurtz, who just got done playing against the Tigers and has had a really good year, he was drafted 4th. Jack Caglione for the Royals. He's made his major league debut, obviously. J.J. Weatherholt might be the National League Rookie of the Year. He was in that draft. Connor Griffin was taken by the Pirates, 9th overall, and he was considered the best prospect in baseball. He made his major league debut earlier this year, but he just got hurt. Those are all the players, or some of the players, I should say, taken ahead of Bryce Rayner. That's interesting, I think. I mean, Nick Kurtz has got in his career, he's got an 8.7 WAR. He debuted last year. Now, Rayner's injury, right? The injury has kind of pushed him back a little bit. I found it interesting that he says he doesn't even think about what the Tigers are doing. Here would be my question to him. Knowing that the other guys in that draft have already made their major league debut, does that affect you at all? Or how much does it affect you? I mean, considering you see other guys in your draft class, you were there at the draft. You see this and you recognize it. I find it hard to believe that a 21-year-old on social media doesn't recognize that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it level-headed and kind of staying where he's at, and that's tough to do for sure. When
as a 21-year-old,
there's no way he's not noticing that they're at the major league level. You know what I mean?
I would think so, but I thought what he showed you is that he's focused day to day on himself and getting better.
100%.
He's on, right? So I would expect him, if he continues at this rate, Andy, he's going to be promoted to Double-A.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to just happen, honestly.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to happen, and then ride out in Double-A, do well there, and maybe, just maybe, start the year next year at AA, and then you never know. I loved the question about shortstop, because even though he kind of tiptoed around it a little bit, saying, this is where they've got me, it's obvious they view him as a shortstop.
Yeah, I had to ask that question just because of all the movement they do at the major league level with where they put people at. I wanted to know if they talked to him about any of their positions or anything like that, pretty much. But I didn't know what he was going to give me or not.
And they have a tendency to do that with their minor leaguers.
Yep, 100%.
Okay? How-Yu Lee was all over the place.
It goes all the way back to Spencer Torkelson.
Well, not really. I mean, they drafted him as a third baseman. They tried him for just a short period of time. They knew he wasn't a third baseman. I mean, he doesn't move well enough to be a third baseman. But they've done it with Wenzel Perez. Okay, they've done it. You're right. They've done it with a lot of guys. I would just say, the Torkelson one's a little bit of a reach. I'm wondering, if this is how they view it. Maybe they're playing McGonigal at shortstop because Rayner's just not ready yet. Obviously, okay. But eventually, you're going to see Rayner at short. You're going to see McGonigal at third. You're going to see Max Anderson at second. That's long term. Okay, I think that's what you're going to see overall, and I think that's kind of cool. And I don't know if Theoran Lorenzo is going to be your first baseman, and Dingler and Valencia will be behind the dish. But you're starting to hear these names a little bit more. They kind of roll off your tongue. You're kind of following them a little bit closer. It's a really impressive little run here that they've got with some of these young players.
Yeah, you're definitely hearing a lot more of those names. What
you need now is you need pitchers.
Yeah, that's the
Troy
thing.
Melton's great. Keter Montero, great. I mean, I'm not saying they're great, but it's great to have them up there. Those guys are part of it. Now you need a more influx of pitchers to make an impact. I'm not saying they're going to make the impact of Kevin McGonigal. Remember, Kevin McGonigal, for Baseball Reference WAR, wins above replacement for rookies. He's on pace to have an 8.7 WAR. All right. If he plays the rest of his games and gets 9 plate appearances per 2 games, got that? 9 plate appearances, not 9 at-bats, 9 plate appearances per 2 games, he's going to have an 8.7 WAR based on Baseball Reference, not Fangraphs. Andy, if that's the case, he will have the 3rd highest B WAR in history for a rookie. Mike Trout's at 10.5. Then it was Dick Allen, who had mad power with the Chicago White Sox and Phillies, at 8.8. Aaron Judge's B WAR, Baseball Reference WAR, as a rookie was 8.1. Ichiro was 7.7. Fred Lynn, who was Rookie of the Year in Boston, I believe in 1975, and was a great center fielder. His B WAR was 7.4 as a rookie. That was a great outfield. Rice in left, Lynn in center, and Dwight Evans in right. Great outfield. Couldn't believe they didn't win it all. Anyway, that's how good McGonigal has been. I don't know if that's, on pace for what Bryce Rayner's capable of, but it's fun to be talking about these guys. When we come back, an oldie but a goodie. We'll explain. Stay with us. We're live from Tullymore on a Friday morning on X's and Bros.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
You have old retirement accounts still at former employers that could use some attention. You have accounts that the only time you hear from the advisor is when you call them. It might be time to take stock of your retirement and stop settling for less than you deserve. Having retirement accounts doesn't equal having a retirement plan. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Stop procrastinating and let's coordinate your retirement accounts and make sure you have a plan for success in retirement. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we help people make sense of all the moving parts of retirement: taxes, income, risk, Social Security, healthcare, and legacy. It all works together, so let's make sure all parts of your plan are working together and not fighting themselves. Let's create a retirement of steel. Contact us today to schedule a brief chat to talk about your situation. If it makes sense, we can talk further. If you're good as is, we'll let you know that too. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com or text PLAN to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. Investment advisory services are offered by MLW Advisory Services, a state registered investment advisor.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Hi there. Second hour of the program here, broadcasting live from Tullymore and St. Ives. We always bring up Tullymore. We forget sometimes that there's a secondary championship course here, and that is St. Ives. That is breathtaking as well. I must have seen 15 to 20 deer yesterday. You see some deer, you see some foxes. It was special. And it's going to be really fun a little bit later on today. Good stuff with Bryce Rayner, who was in that impressive draft class, and hopefully he can accomplish what those guys are accomplishing now. Okay, the Connor Griffins, the J.J. Weatherholts, the Nick Kurtzes of the world. So we'll keep an eye on Bryce Rayner moving forward, and hopefully that's not the last time we will ever talk to him. Just before we dive into some football discussion, and later on, Jim Miller, former Super Bowl winning quarterback, he's backed up Tom Brady, and they won a Super Bowl, and Todd Haley, who was coach of the Super Bowl, former coach of the Chiefs and the Steelers and a lot of different places, Cleveland. He will join us as well at 8:35 here at Tullymore. I did see Ben Verlander tweet out the other day, I think it was yesterday, that the Tigers have pulled to within X amount of games, buy and go all in. Do you think there's only two choices for this team? Do you think it's either trade Skubal and build for the future, or hold on to Skubal and try to win a World Series? And before you do, when people say you're not going to win a World Series, first of all, you don't know. Sorry, you just don't know. You think you do, but you don't. So to say this team is not good enough to win ... I thought Colorado was the best team in the NHL last year. Did you think Vegas, who had 2 more points than the Red Wings, would play in the Stanley Cup Finals? Just be honest, okay? At any point during the regular season, this past season, did you think the New York Knicks would reel off 13 straight playoff wins? Be honest. Okay. Who won the Super Bowl last year?
Sam Darnold and the Seahawks.
Did you think Seattle was going to win the Super Bowl? I'm not telling you that I think that the Tigers are good enough to win the World Series. I'm just telling you, you think you know, but you don't. It's the Billy Bean line played by Brad Pitt in Moneyball. You think you know, but you don't. He delivers it quite well, and I'm sure it was overrated. But you understand my point. This bullcrap of, well, I know exactly. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people thought Indiana was going to win the football championship. Oh, I bet you there were a lot of people who thought Michigan was going to win it all too. It's such bullcrap, right? So I don't think there are two choices. This team can win the division. They can get in the playoffs. And that's the reason for the Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question. Who scares you? Don't tell me you're looking at the American League standings. You're going, holy crap, man. I don't know how the hell we're going to beat Tampa. You're lucky if you know who Tampa's manager is, for crying out loud.
Yep, doesn't matter what their record is. You're still not. You weren't thinking about it coming into the season, so you're
Hell
definitely not thinking about it any differently now.
Absolutely not. It's so. Okay, let me ask you this. I mean, you not to put you on the spot, but you're a baseball guy. Who's their best pitcher?
Shane McClanahan, maybe.
Shane McClanahan. Yeah, yeah, he is. Drew Rasmussen's good.
I didn't know if he was
Nick
technically
Martinez
the best, but like by ERA, I'm not sure who their best pitcher is or record.
I don't even think he's got their best ERA. I don't even know that. I think their best ERA is Martinez, but I could be wrong there. But I mean, these guys, I mean, and they throw innings. Kevin Cash, it wasn't long ago where he was ripped on for pulling Blake Snell in a World Series game. So I just find it odd when people tell me, whether it be on social media, in a newspaper, on a TV, or on radio. I know, look, I hate to tell you this, folks, but the Tigers aren't winning this, that, and the other thing. Oh, okay. Let me know how your track record is with what you know during a regular season. Okay? We want to be the first to predict something. And when it doesn't come to fruition, we conveniently have a short memory about whether or not we predicted it. Don't let anyone tell you that that is not happening when you still have a lot of season left. It's part of the reason I said I'll buy in when they get to within 5 games of 500. The problem with that is that it's not bombastic enough. Everybody wants to pound the desk and tell you exactly what's going to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, they conveniently forget, I forgot I said that like a month ago. Now it's on tape now and all that other stuff. All right. Take it as it goes, see what things happen, and see how another team or other teams within a division or within a league happen to go about their business. Now, if you want to sit there and tell me, I think the Dodgers should be the favorite in the World Series, no kidding. That's obvious. All right. Dodgers are a better team roster, top to bottom, than the Tigers and than any other team in baseball. My concern, of course, with the Tigers is that somebody else, there are going to be other teams that are going to make moves at the trade deadline to get themselves better. If you're not getting better, you're probably getting worse. And the worse in the sense of the other teams are getting better. So you're not making a move. Well, the other teams are going to make a move. The Yankees aren't going to sit there. Brian Cashman's not going to sit there, twiddle his thumbs and say, I think if we're healthy, we're going to be okay. No, they're going to do what they can to get better. Tampa's going to get better. Seattle's going to get better. So I don't know about the White Sox, and I don't know about the Guardians. It wouldn't surprise me if both of them felt like, this has been a good year so far. It hasn't been a good year for the Tigers. That's a good feeling for us because they're starting to play better and tells you, hopefully Scott Harris decides that he's going to get better. Can you get better by getting rid of your best pitcher? That's a tough task.
Yeah, see, the thing I was going to ask about the question, if it was a two-part thing, is if it's only two options of either trade Skubal and get what you get back, or stand pat and try to win the World Series. Do you have to add to do that? Like, is that I would want them to add, but I'm asking you, like, is there technically a third option where they stand pat and you're okay with that too? I don't think anybody would be okay
I'm not
with that.
okay if they stand pat. And the reason I'm not okay with that is because, as I just mentioned, I think other teams are going to get better.
So what do you think obviously we're going to have this conversation more as we get closer to it if they are going to add.
Well, you should have this conversation regularly.
Who do you think they would add right now? What would they want?
What would they want? So you want to add a power right-handed bat.
I think that's still it for me. No matter how much power they've delivered in June, I still want the bat.
You also want a high leverage bullpen arm.
Yep.
Similar to what the Yankees did.
They have to add somebody in the bullpen, it feels like.
Right. Here's the problem in trying to identify that. You know me, what do I always say? You can't just say this is what you got to have. You got to give me a name. So, for example, if you wanted to go get a guy like Josh Hader, the problem with that is San Diego going to sell? Are you going to go out and you're going to say, you know what? I'm the San Diego Padres. I have spent a lot of money on the various players on my roster. And they spent a ton of money. When you look at them and you look at their payroll with Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts and Jackson Merrill and who's the kid from Jake Cronenworth. You spent a lot of money, but you're 2 games under 500 and you play in the division where everybody knows the Dodgers year in and year out are the favorites. What are you going to do when you've got to go get a guy to try and bolster your bullpen? Can you go get somebody who's going to help you, and how much is it going to cost you? That's the question, And I'm not sure if we have the answer to that, because I don't know that a lot of these teams are going to do something. So that's where you kind of poke and prod. And obviously, Josh Hader doesn't play for San Diego anymore. He's playing for Houston. Is Houston going to add, or is Houston going? I mean, he's got 10 saves. Does that move your needle at all? He's been hurt, so he hasn't appeared in a lot of games, right? The strikeout per 9 ratio for a guy like Josh Hader is as high as it's ever been at 14.7. But that's the leverage arm. He was with San Diego. Now he's in Houston. Is Houston going to sell? Would San Diego sell from anybody? Michael King, who wouldn't be in the bullpen, but he would be a guy who would be a positive for you because of his ability to strike batters out and so on and so forth. So those are the things you're trying to figure that out. All right. Got to take a quick time out. Then we're going to dive into some football, including what we consider to be, a big plus for the Lions. But some national folks don't think we think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're brought to you by Meijer this hour, live from Tullymore.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for the Carmody brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings across Michigan. You can watch the end of the World Cup at all Buffalo Wild Wings in Michigan. Yes, the U.S. has been bounced, but the best teams in the world remain. And you can watch all the games on all the TVs at all Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. Every single World Cup game.
We're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to TullymoreGolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Welcome back. Andy and I had a good conversation just a minute ago. We'll try to dive into that at 7:35. It's about the latest Dylan Larkin news.
He always gives you a reason.
This is it's become a soap opera.
It's insane.
Yeah. You might as well rewind the clock to the early 80s. Turn on the TV while you're in college. Okay? You're in college and you've got a study break. You're in between classes. You know what a lot of people did? They watched whatever. I wasn't one of them, but I had some friends who did this. They watched like The Young and the Restless. Like, what the hell are you doing? Hey man, I got class off in between 1 and 2 every day, so that's started to watch this. It's a soap opera, all right? Let's face it. The only reason they did it is because they want to see hot women. That's fine. Because there's no storylines whatsoever. That's what Dylan Larkin has become. He's become a soap opera. So we'll talk about that at 7:35. I mentioned oldie good but a goodie a minute ago. Did you see the news that of the Washington Commanders? Still can't get used to calling them that. The Washington Commanders have decided to retire John Riggins' John Riggins' number 44. So they're going to retire that at some point this season. So good for them. You can no longer wear number 44. He'll become the 7th player in franchise history to have his number retired. All right. I'm not going to do the layup drill. I'm not doing what Detroit athlete should have their number retired, and it isn't. I'm not doing that. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about the Diesel and John Riggins, who was borderline psychotic. But I did, in case you are a big Washington, or you don't have to be a Washington fan, you can be an NFL fan. Sammy Baugh's number is retired there. Bobby Mitchell, Sean Taylor, Darryl Green, Sonny Jurgensen, and Art Monk. There's 2 guys, Charles Manley, I thought might be retired there. And I thought for sure Chris Hamburger was. Now, that sounds like a funny name to people who didn't collect cards back then and didn't know who the hell it was. He's a really good linebacker, or number 55. I thought that was good for Washington first and foremost. And the reason I say that is because John Riggins has been very critical of Washington in the past. So give him a lot of credit. Let's dovetail that into some Lions discussion. Something that gives us hope. What the Lions were known for when they were 15-2 and when they were winning back-to-back division titles and so on and so forth and reaching an NFC championship game, they were known for their offensive line. We all know that, right? That's what they were built on. The starting offensive line for the Lions this year is going to be, as long as they stay healthy, Penei Sewell, who's 6'5", 335 pounds, and he's only 26 years old. Christian Mahogany, he was a starter last year. I don't know if he'll start at left guard. But as a starter last year, you could probably pencil him in as, maybe the incumbent. How's that? He's 6'3" and change, 330 pounds, and he's 26 years old. I think that's surprising to a lot of people. Like, it seems like Penei Sewell's been around forever. It does.
Even hearing
you
26
feel like he's
shocking.
You feel like he's the second coming of Jeff Backus or Lomas Brown. They've been around for so long, right? Doesn't it feel like he's been the anchor for the Lions forever?
Yeah, it seems like he'd be like 30 years old.
Yes. Yeah. There's no way you would have thought this is a guy who is still, he's considered young. Don't you think? At 26 in football? What are your prime years?
No, yeah. That should be right there for sure. I know offensive linemen's, lifetime like in the league can be shorter, I guess. Yeah. But I would think that at 26, he's still got plenty of good football left in him.
You talk about steady. Every game he's played, he started. And he started from day one. And he's been 5 years deep into the league, and he's still an elite player. Mahogany, I might add. And I got this off Pro Football Focus. He recorded a 78 Pro Football Focus offensive grade and an 86 run blocking grade from week 5 through 9 before he fractured his fibula in week 9. Those marks were top 10 among guards, not left guards, but all guards. Now, it's a small sample size, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 weeks. Not a big sample size. He struggled to start. It wasn't great because he was next to Taylor Decker, who was injured, and next to Graham Glasgow, who, let's face it, just wasn't a very good center. All right. But he did show improvement as he moved on. So anyway, so there's Mahogany. Then you've got Cade Mays. Now, if you've listened to this show long enough, X's and Bros in the morning, 6 to 9, Monday through Friday, you know that when the free agency hit, what was the first name we said? We wanted Cade Mays. Played at Carolina, big, strong dude. He's 6'4", 325 pounds, and he's 27 years old. So you've got him in his prime years, all right? And by the way, when they talk about linemen and the reach and everything and the strength, he is 82nd percentile in height, 97th percentile in weight among centers. He's 97th percentile in arm length. His arm length is 34 and an 1/8 inches. So that's 97th percentile. That means it's good, okay? That means you're in the upper percentile. And his wingspan, not that he's going to go dunk a basketball, but his wingspan is in the 95th percentile. Cade Mays has everything he's not Frank Ragnow, but he's got everything you want in a starting center, right? And then you've got Tate Ratledge at right guard. Yes, when he's not taking pictures of sharks, because did you see him on social media the other day? He's got a shark.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. 6'6.5". This guy's a mountain of a human being. 6'6.5", 322 pounds, and he's 25. And then you've got Blake Miller, who's bigger than Tate Ratledge. Blake Miller is 6'6" and 3/4. Might as well be 6'7". Okay? 320 pounds. And he's 22. You're 6'7", 320 pounds? Dude, that means you're in really good shape.
Yeah.
Okay? So anyway, so I view this and I'm like, okay, our offensive line has got to be a lot better. Then you look at some of these NFL accounts. And some people, I mean, maybe they're haters. I don't know. Maybe we're too in love with certain guys. If I can blame somebody for acting like a hater, they can probably blame me of being, a little bit of homer. So I can accept that. I saw a football account the other day from a guy who handles analytics. All right. Sharp Football Analysis is all about the numbers. Where do you think he had the Lions offensive line ranked? He's got Denver number 1. Philadelphia is the number 1 in the NFC. So it goes Denver, then it goes Philadelphia. All right. Garrett Bowles is really good in Denver. He kind of anchors things. So Denver 1, Philadelphia 2. Where do you think he had the Lions?
I'd guess
out of the 30 teams in the National Football League, where would the Lions
just after last year still, the way
32 teams. I'm sorry, I said 30.
Yep. After last year with it not being as good as it could have been, I would guess that they got him at 9. Maybe
lower.
So 13?
Lower.
Wow.
14. He's got him at 14. He's got Denver 1, Philly 2, Buffalo 3, Tampa 4, the Rams 5, which is surprising. Then the Bears, Niners, Chargers, Seahawks, Falcons at 10, Colts, Panthers, Vikings, Lions. Based on analytics, for what that's worth. All right, when we come back, the soap opera continues. Here we go. Roll it back. Another plot. It thickens a little bit with Dylan Larkin.
They can't wait because you guys had the break to get back to it.
Can't wait, man. Like they're hanging on Elliot Friedman's every word. We'll be back after this. We're live at Tullymore on a Friday morning, brought to you by Meyer.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to tullymoregolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
I knew that we had work to do, and I knew that we weren't going to win the Stanley Cup the next day, but yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot. I could tell you right now confidently. Yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot. I could tell you right now confidently, winning a Stanley Cup would mean a whole lot more than that, and that's the ultimate goal.
Dylan has 5 years remaining on his contract. Dylan has 5 years remaining on his contract. My job as the manager of the Detroit Red Wings is always to do what is in the best interest of the Detroit Red Wings, and I will act accordingly to that. So I cannot make any guarantees, or did not make any guarantees that request could or would be met. As Wojo had asked, there is certainly a lot of uncertainty around that.
Steve Eisman from earlier this year, that was actually at the draft when people asked him, and rightfully so, asked him about the Dylan Larkin situation and a status update on that. Welcome back to X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. We are broadcasting live from Tullymore and St. Ives. I'm Matt Shepard, Andy McDonald alongside. If you missed it, Andy had a sit down with Bryce Rayner, talked with him. We played that earlier in the show. Coming up, Jim Miller and Todd Haley will join us here live at Tullymore. Matt Golden, the general manager and CEO of Tullymore, joins us at 8 o'clock. I think when this whole thing started, most people were against Steve Eisman. I don't blame Dylan Larkin because they haven't won. Forgetting all the while that part of the reason they haven't won is because Dylan Larkin hasn't been good enough. Not just him, but everybody, but he's part of it, okay? I'm not going to sit there and try to tell you that Dylan Larkin, because he wears the captain, he's got to take the brunt of the responsibility. It's a team sport, all right? We don't use that with Kane or DeBrincat or Sider or Raymond. We use it for Larkin for two reasons. One, he's the captain, and two, he's asked for a trade. Yzerman was viewed as the bad guy throughout the season because he didn't do enough at trade deadlines. Justin Falk, I like that addition. I don't care about the first-round pick. At least right now I don't. I think Justin Falk's a really good player. I think a lot of people wanted more because he hasn't addressed the needs. Yeah. He hasn't addressed the needs. What's the common phrase about all Detroit general managers? None of them willing to go all in. None of them willing to do the thing that other general managers are willing to. Bill Guerin in Minnesota is willing to do something. John Schneider with Seattle in football is willing to do something. Dave Dombrowski is willing to do something. Right?
No, and some of the most recent
to make their team better, that's what they want. Pat Riley in Miami, they're willing to take the risk. We want that risk. It's easy to do that, Andy, because you and I, our head isn't on the chopping block after this year.
100%. That's what some of the last we really heard from Larkin was kind of about that, how like he was like talking about how, you know, he knew it was going to take a while and this and all that kind of stuff. And he basically alluded to the fact that he thought there was going to be more moves than there has been, and there just hasn't.
So let me ask you this: as a player, I was talking about this with a hockey player the other day. Is Larkin's stance, attaboy, good for you, somebody's got to hold the general manager accountable? Or is it, boo on you, you're supposed to be a leader, you're quitting on your team? Does it have to be only one or the other?
I don't think it has to be one or the other.
So here's what I say to people. Do people think Mike Trout's an idiot right now? He's made the playoffs.
It's a great example. It's great.
Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Anthony Rendon, all on the same team, right? And more. I'm just using those guys as an example. All on the same team. What a fool. Why would you stay in Los Angeles, get the hell out of there, and go give yourself a chance to win a ring? How many times do we see best player never to win a championship? Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Ted Williams. We can go on and on with a lot of different players, right? So if you're not going to hold the general manager account, okay, so you don't do that. What about I want a guy to stay there his entire career. Oh, so you want a guy like Archie Manning who played for the Saints and didn't win squat. Should he have left? I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. Here's what we know about Dylan Larkin. He reportedly only had 3 teams that he wanted to go to. You know the 3 teams. Now he's expanded his list of teams. So it's not just Florida any longer. It's not just Minnesota any longer. It's not just Vegas. Gee, I wonder why. because, Dylan, they can't squeeze you in. They're not going to be able to do this. I mean, this is why you overplayed your hand. You didn't read the room and so on and so forth. Cap space. Philly's got the most. That's why they were willing to spend $18 million a year on Leo Carlson. And Leo Carlson, that offer sheet was matched by Anaheim. Now they're in cap purgatory, I might add. But Philly's got the most. Then Chicago, then Columbus, then Detroit. Or as the Canadians like to say, Detroit. $18.7 million in cap space. They are fourth. Seattle at 18.4. That's why Seattle was willing to give Jason Robertson a lot of money. Then it's Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Calgary, Montreal, and San Jose. That's your top 10 cap space right now in the National Hockey League. Larkin reportedly has expanded it to Dallas. What would Detroit want from Dallas? Well, everybody wants Wyatt Johnston. You're not getting Wyatt Johnston.
That's the quickest no they probably can have on that phone call.
He's got 45 goals. He's younger than Larkin. No, he's going to be more expensive. But Dallas isn't going to give him up. Jason Robertson's a restricted free agent. If you're Detroit, do you want Jason Robertson? You're damn right you do.
Yeah,
do you think that's feasible? Probably not. But you do have the cap space to sign him. So that's a possibility. It's not going to happen. And what Larkin's going to have to do is he's going to have to expand it even more. And here's the other thing that's important to note. We hear the leaf blowers in the background. What's important to note is that Dylan Larkin makes $8.7 million for the next 5 years. He's completely under Detroit's control. Steve Yzerman has said, I have to do what's best for the Detroit Red Wings. He's not pushing any panic button. There's no red button in his office that says, oh my God. This is I sank your battleship, okay? We're not playing Battleship. He can hold on to Dylan Larkin as long as he wants.
Sure can.
And if it's uncomfortable for Dylan Larkin when they hit training camp because he's going to have the C torn off his jersey, so be it. I don't know how much say he's going to have in his clubhouse or his locker room because I think there's a lot of guys in there like, sorry, dude, talk to the hand. You can't talk to me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they treat him. I mean, I think that's what everybody wishes they were a fly on the wall for is that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Who knows what it's going to be like? Who knows what he's going to have to say to them to even have their respect? I mean, who knows what it's going to be like? It's
I ask you this. Let me ask you this. When do you think Dylan Larkin said, I've had enough?
I wonder. I think it was even earlier than probably once he realized that the ship was going the same way that it's went the last.
But when did you recognize that? Here's what I think happened. I have it on pretty good authority that last year, early on in the season, Larkin, Kane, and DeBrincat met with Quinn Hughes in Vancouver. I think they were playing them early in the season. I gotta double check that, but I know they had a conversation with him. It's like, everybody out, get out of here, all right? And we want to talk. And they wanted him in Detroit. And maybe it was in the off season. But those guys met with Quinn Hughes and said, we want you to come to Detroit. Quinn Hughes wanted to come to Detroit, but he wasn't going to sign a 2-year. He was going to sign the extension yet. And if you're Quinn Hughes, if you're the player and the player's agent, why would you do that? You probably wouldn't do it because you're one of the best defensemen in the world, and the money's going to go up. Cale Makar, think about what Cale Makar is going to sign for in Colorado. When his contract is up, he can ask for the moon. Because this, the market is constantly resetting. How many times do we talk about Brad Holmes signing Amon-Ra St. Brown at the right time? Signing Jamison Williams at the right time. There's only one player in the NFL besides Jamison Williams who's got over 1,000 yards and 60-plus rocks last year. It was Alec Pierce. What did Alec Pierce sign for? Ridiculous money. The market's constantly resetting, folks. So if you're Quinn Hughes, why would you resign? Here's what Steve Yzerman should have thought about, though. I bring in Quinn Hughes, and I got Dylan Larkin, and I got Alex DeBrincat, and I got Lucas Raymond, and I got Mo Sider and stuff, and all I've done is give up draft picks and a couple of guys in the minor leagues in Grand Rapids who only Andy McDonald cares about going to see. I'm going to bring more guys in. You know what might come along with Quinn Hughes? Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes might go, I don't want to play in New Jersey anymore. I want to play with my brother. I want to do what the Stahl brothers did. They all played in Carolina. How awesome was that? Or they played in Pittsburgh. I want to play with my brother. So I'm going to go to Detroit. I may take a little less money to do that. That's what Quinn Hughes can do. Quinn Hughes can bring those types of players on board. I think that's when it changed. I think Dylan Larkin
really good.
I thought for sure, I bet you Dylan Larkin was like, I thought for sure that Quinn Hughes was coming to Detroit. And when Yzerman said no, I realized this is ridiculous. I haven't seen one dude from Grand Rapids, a Grand Rapids Griffin crest, come to Detroit and make an impact. I'm with them at training camp every year. I don't see it. I'm out. I think that's when it changed. I think it changed last year when Yzerman said, I'm not trading for Quinn Hughes unless he signs the extension. And that was the writing on the wall. That, and then in addition to the fact that he had so much success at the Four Nations last year or 2 years ago, and then last year won gold with Team USA.
Yeah, and the funny part about that is the one Griffin they did hang on to has been, Simon Evanson, who's been up there playing good. That might have been the guy they hung on to, didn't trade for Quinn Hughes.
That's right, because that's reportedly what they would have had to give up Simon Evanson and draft picks, right?
Yep, that was a lot of the conversation went around Simon Evanson. Yeah.
And I get that because Simon Evanson's a good player.
He is a good player, really good player.
Okay. Who's sniffing around Simon Evanson as a restricted free agent right now? Any idea?
Carolina, I believe, is what I've been seeing.
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah. What if you ink him to a $9 or $10 million contract? Are you going to match that? Like if I was another team and I just wanted to screw Detroit, I would go and sign Simon Evanson to a $10 million a year deal. This dude just walked out with a bag of ice and loaded with beer and high noons. And it's
747.
Good job, dude. Way to go. Hit him straight. No, seriously. If you're a team, you want to screw Steve Yzerman, wouldn't you do? Simon Evanson, $10 million. He's got to match it. You know why? Not just because he's a top pairing defenseman, not because you're helping build your team around a player like that, but because he's the reason you didn't go out and get a top 3 defenseman in the world. I don't want to surrender Simon Evanson. All the other guys in Grand Rapids, you and I might forget. Nate Danielson's been a bust. Oh, my God. He's the guy that Steve Yzerman had to hold on to. Otherwise, they would have gotten Quinn Hughes. No, you probably won't remember that, but you'll remember Simon Evanson. Don't kid yourself. Last year, you were watching Quinn Hughes dominate for Minnesota and thinking, what would that guy do for us?
Yeah, and the other question, that Steve knows he's good. It's not like he doesn't know that Quinn Hughes is good.
Well,
and if Larkin came to him and talked to him about it at any point that, hey, we got this guy wants to come here, whatever. What is it? Just because of his own pride? Did he not want to do it that way because a player came and asked him to do that? Or I don't understand why that wouldn't be a move he'd want to make.
I don't think that's the case. I think they've had I think it's been a strained relationship for 2 years because of what Larkin said at the end of last
brought publicly
two seasons ago. Yeah. And I think there are a lot of fans who are like, good for you. It's exactly what I'm thinking. You're one of us. You can say that all you want. As a player, you can't do that. You don't throw. Maybe there are certain guys in your front office you can do that. Certain players can do that, right? With a guy who doesn't have as much power. If it's Lawrence Frank in the Pistons front office and Grant Hill wants to say something about it, I bet you it doesn't matter. Steve Yzerman is arguably a top 5 all-time athlete in Detroit sports history. Arguably, I said. I mean, Barry Sanders is in that conversation. Isaiah Thomas is in that conversation, right? Miguel Cabrera is probably in that conversation. Steve Yzerman's absolutely in that conversation. You don't do that. Dylan Larkin is a good player. He's never going to be Steve Yzerman, and he hasn't been a great player for the Red Wings. He hasn't. I mean, unless you're going to lower the bar, I'm not lowering my bar. All right? Greatness is Yzerman, Fedorov, and Lidstrom, and Datsuk, and Zetterberg. Those are great players. Now, Dylan Larkin's been a very good complementary player on Team USA. And you could say he's been the Red Wings' best player during his stretch. Sure, go ahead. They haven't made the playoffs. So how great can you be? If your team ain't making the playoffs, how great can you be? I guess that's a little contradictory with me when I talk about Mike Trout, because I think Mike Trout's one of the greatest players I've seen. But his teams haven't made the playoffs. And he's been injured each of the last 4 or 5 years. Okay? So, and he's been around for 15 years. But I think that's kind of what we're looking at. That's where I think it changed a little bit for Larkin. There's no question the relationship was strained. I think athletes, it's not like they didn't have a heart-to-heart. It's not like Yzerman and Larkin didn't sit down and talk about it, because that's what athletes do. They're very straightforward. They're not going to let things linger. They're not going to sugarcoat things. I'll guarantee you they talked about it. They probably just didn't like what each other had to say.
Almost guarantee that's it. I mean, it has to be. That has to be what happened.
But I don't think it's as simple as just saying, well, Dylan Larkin has noticed they're not going anywhere. There has to be specifics. It's not just a trickle-down effect. Dylan Larkin every year goes into camp, and he looks around, and it's hard to impress great players. Not Larkin's a great player, but I'm saying great players in general. Players who play at the highest level, it's hard to impress them. It's a big reason why when you have the Kachuk brothers coming out saying Dylan Larkin's a really good leader, that's why I don't doubt the leadership capabilities of it. But when you're on the ice, it's hard to look around and say, man, that dude's going to be unbelievable for us. And you don't have guys like that with the Red Wings. So he's noticed that. And then the Quinn Hughes decision on Steve Yzerman, I think, really set him back. So those are kind of the specifics. All right, when we come back, Matt Golden, the CEO and general manager here at Tullymore. It's a fantastic day, fantastic course, fantastic people here. He's going to join us. 8:18, we've got the Friday six-pack brought to you by Garage Beer. And then at 8:35, Jim Miller and Todd Haley going to join us to talk a little football here on X's and Bros this hour, brought to you by our friends at Meyer.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Get a jump on back-to-school shopping with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves. Stock up on school supplies for $1 or less, including Meyer 70-sheet notebooks, glue sticks, 2-pocket folders, and 10-count washable markers. Plus, save on breakfast favorites like select varieties of Meyer toaster pastries, pancake mix, syrup, and instant oatmeal, all just $1.79 each. Good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See the Meyer app for details.
Huge cheer for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Our worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contest or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
it's a happy spot. You ever have a happy place? Sure you do. Tullymore, St. Ives is a lot of people's happy place. I know it's Matt Goldens. He's the CEO and the general manager of Tullymore and St. Ives, and he joins us here live. Appreciate you having us. Just out of curiosity, when you go into your closet and you decide which golf polo am I going to wear, does it always have to be a St. Ives or a Tullymore, and how do you know which one to put on?
Wonderful leadoff question. So, well, when I'm here, it usually has a Tullymore or St. Ives logo on it. So, yep, just kind of depends on the day.
Because how often do you go to your pro shop and go, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. I feel like Judge Smale's grandson, where he's like, I want a hot dog, I want a cheeseburger. You'll get nothing and like it. I go through your pro shop and I'm like, I want that shirt. Now, I've got this one from the last time I visited.
Okay.
And I love it. And I bought one yesterday, too. But I could have bought, I would say, at least 8 or 9. How many do you have?
How many do I have? I probably have 70 or 80.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Yep.
You pick them
I
up
actually
as
had
soon
to
as
go
they come
through
in,
and
don't you?
yeah. Well, I actually special order.
Oh,
that way I don't get in the way of the customers.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we played St. Ives yesterday. It's in immaculate condition, I might add.
Thank you.
And I'm not saying that because you're here. Todd Haley and Jim Miller and I were playing it, and it's the first time they played here. They were in awe. And they only played the back 9 because they got here late. I said, if you love this, and I love St. Ives, you're going to love Tullymore. I mean, you're going to fall in love. Todd Haley's from out east. Jim Miller's from here in Michigan, had never played here before. They are thrilled. What is the biggest difference? They asked me this. The biggest difference between St. Ives and Tullymore. How would you answer that question?
The elevation. For 2 courses that are only about 7 miles apart, you've got all the elevation game at St. Ives. You've got more some blind approaches here at Tullymore. You've got some more distance off the tee here. But the
need
terrain,
for distance is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just assume when you play Tullymore, you just hit the ball further.
I wish.
I wish.
Exactly.
I mean,
it beats the hell out of me, but I love it. Okay?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, exactly. So,
so really good stuff. And I there was a private event last night on the porch, on your patio, I should say, that overlooks 18, which is just so picturesque. It's where actually we should be broadcasting from, folks, because you can see that in the background instead of the brick wall. But it was so much fun. There were so many people in the dining room and out on the patio. You could tell how much they were just having an absolute blast.
Yeah, the nice thing is our lodging here really lends itself to groups.
Yeah, right.
And so, gosh, in the dining room last night, you had a group of 24 that was all here together.
Mm-hmm.
A couple groups of 8. So it definitely is a communal time here at Tullymore.
You had the member guest yesterday.
We do all weekend.
How busy is that for you and your staff?
So pretty busy. We've all been at work since about 5:30 this morning. We'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. So same thing yesterday. But it's worth it. It's a lot of fun to see the members, their guests. A lot of them come back year after year. They get to see the improvements we're making to the courses. They get to, really feel like they're a part of something here.
So what are those improvements?
Doing a lot of bunker work right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing a lot more, some liners going in, some sand going in, some just general bunker repair around the edges, putting some new sod in and everything. So a lot more verticut in, a lot more, just general turf maintenance.
How do you decide on those types? When most people play your courses, they think this is awesome. And yet you have to look at it with a different eye, a different critical eye. How do you decide on making those
we've got 2 great superintendents here that really keep their eye on the course. Our director of golf, Gary Lewandowski, is out there all the time, just, keeping that eye on the course and trying to figure out, okay, we're here, but what can take us to the next step?
What is the next step?
We're going to speed things up a little bit here. Make the fairways the approaches a little faster. Always going to make the greens a little bit faster. So I have a little bit of fun with those. So, just general aesthetic care as well around here. So
I was talking about this earlier this morning when I was playing St. Ives, and I said to Andy McDonald back in the studio, because he's never been out here, but I said to him, I don't know what the signature hole is at St. Ives. And the reason I say that is because there were so many times where Todd, Jim, and I were playing yesterday, and we said, this could be it. Look at this picture. Look at how beautiful this is. There's a par 5 where that fairway runs like, your circular driveway, for crying out loud. It's so thin, it's so narrow, but it's so beautiful. We saw 8 deer on the right side of the fairway. Okay, and I only know that because I was in the woods.
Right.
So I ask you, what is that? What is the signature hole on St. Ives?
Gosh, there's probably a couple that you could say are the signature holes. 14 gets a lot of flack for being one of the toughest holes in Michigan. That's about to be featured in a Pure Michigan campaign. That's about to be featured or was featured on Michigan Golf Live last year. So 14 is probably one of the more well-known holes. I think 17 is a signature hole that you come in around the lake and kind of dogleg up to the green.
Yeah.
So definitely some options over there.
What do you and your staff, you guys take a lot of pride in the overall experience, and I understand that. But from a golf standpoint, strictly from playing golf, what do you take most pride in about your 2 championship courses?
That they're so different. You can go to a lot of courses that have 2 facilities like we do, and you're still playing 2 geographically similar courses. And here you've got your St. Ives course, more of an up North Michigan feel, makes you feel like you're maybe up near Gaylord, Traverse City, something like that. And then Tullymore, you just really get lost in it, especially on the back nine. Yeah. Everything here is so isolated. And so when you're on the 14th hole, you're on the 14th hole.
What I always tell people is it's as clean a course as you can find. And when I say clean, I mean, you look at the tee boxes, they're perfect. You look at the greens, they're beautiful. Now, do we all have pet peeves? One of my biggest pet peeves is people replacing their ball marks. I wish people would be more conscious of that. But it's a fair golf course. If you want to play something, both of them, if you want to say, I should be rewarded because I just had a really good shot, you get rewarded. The challenge is there, but it's also fair.
Oh, absolutely. I think especially if you're playing from the right tees, both courses can be very approachable to anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we should all understand our own games.
Yeah.
So play from the proper tees.
Yeah, you're not going to see me playing from the silvers. I'm not a tips kind of guy.
Didn't even know the silvers were out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me shift gears with you because you're a baseball fan too.
Sure.
And you're a general manager. If you were a general manager, would you trade Tarek Skubal?
Ooh.
Knowing that he's going to be a free agent, you probably can't afford him in the offseason.
Probably an unpopular opinion, but I might. I just don't think it's been there yet this year.
I think it's a very popular opinion.
Yeah.
So I think that's the easier one. I think the harder one.
We don't get to trade people here, I'm not used to that.
I know.
Right. I should start this with like Arcadia Bluffs or something, where it's like I've got 2 grounds guys for year 1 bag drop,
Right.
Yeah.
I played another one of your properties, Watermark, earlier this year. Really enjoyed that course. First time I'd ever played there.
Absolutely.
So I think Red Water's got themselves a really nice bullpen. Speaking of baseball, you could do that.
There we go.
I think the easy answer on Skubal is that. I think the harder question is, what would you do with Casey Mize knowing that he's going to be a free agent after the year?
Ooh, not quite sure about that one.
Okay, because he's going to cost a lot less money.
Yep.
He's going to be expensive. He's going to be at least $20 million a year, but it's going to cost you money. Before I let you go, do you think they make the playoffs? The Tigers, after winning 5, I mean, you were there watching all these folks watching the game last night in your beautiful dining area, having some good food and drinking some cold beers and talking with some fun people. Do you think they're making it? They were all watching it last night.
I'm going to say they make it.
Okay. I hope they do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
We're always glad.
The eternal optimist here,
You are an eternal optimist. That's why I wish you would play golf with me more often.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Oh, Matt, you're OB, but that's okay. You struck it well.
Yes, exactly. Right. The distance was good.
Yeah, you missed the putt 8 feet to the right, but you had good speed.
Yes,
it's always good to visit with you, my
thanks
friend.
so much.
All right, Matt Golden is the CEO and the general manager here at Tullymore and St. Ives. Beautiful facility, wonderful people, and the member guests going on all weekend long. It's a busy time, but you'd never know it. Everyone walking around here with a smile on their face, and people just cannot wait. Guys are walking out with beers in hand, some with orange juice. We'll get to the beer a little bit later. But one thing I guarantee you, they will have an enjoyable time out there because of this course, these 2 courses, and the people who run it. When we come back, it's the Friday 6-pack. Brought to you by Garage Beer. And then at 8:35, Jim Miller, the former Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Todd Haley, longtime head coach and offensive coordinator here on X's and Bros, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. And it's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. Justin Verlander has thought about it for a long time, and he has come to the realization that this is it. After 21 years in the big leagues, he is retiring at the end of the season. JB answered questions for almost half an hour on Wednesday, but for him, this wasn't a time for reflection because Verlander made it clear he's determined to come back and make some meaningful starts for the Tigers before the end of the year. And while many may doubt that he can do that, do not count him out. As he said, he wants to be part of what's going on with this Tigers team. It's why he came back, and he's going to continue to work because, as he said, that's who I am. JB is pitching pain-free for the first time since going on the IL in April. His bullpen yesterday begins the road back, and his return might be closer than you think.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Live at Tullymore and St. Ives, but we're outside Tullymore here on X's and Bros on what appears to be, it's a very comfortable day. Slight breeze. You could get away with pants, but shorts on the golf course is fine today. If you've got a group and you got some buddies and you're thinking, I want to go someplace and you can have an overnight stay, more than an overnight stay, this is the place. You're going to get 2 beautiful golf courses. You're going to get good food. You're going to have a really enjoyable time. You can put your phone away and just relax. And isn't that what it's about? There's enough stress with you standing over a 3-foot putt. And I ought to know because I missed 2 of them yesterday. Ready, Andy? I'm ready for this. I want to ask you this.
Sure.
All right. Percentage of golfers who break 100. This according to a caddy account, an inside golf account.
Like of every recreational golfer, anybody?
What's the percentage of golfers who break 100? Legit.
Okay.
Legit.
I guess like 55%.
55% is correct.
Wow,
percentage
really?
Yes. Percentage of golfers who break 90. Legit. This is no gimmies. No, I'm going to fluff it up.
32%.
I get a breakfast ball. It's 25%.
Okay.
Percentage of golfers who break 80.
Probably 15%.
5%.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gotta be so low if you're actually playing like no gimmies, no breakfast, all that stuff you mentioned.
Right.
It's gotta be so low.
Percentage of golfers to break 70.
1%.
0.5%.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much lower could it go?
Yeah. So
that's crazy to think about.
I was playing the other day with my son and a buddy of his and my other son. And my youngest son and his good friend, they go at it. They're betting and they make you putt everything. I mean, an 8 is an 8. A 9 is a 9. A 3, you've got to make sure you're putting it all the way in. And yesterday I was fortunate. I played pretty well on St. Ives. Love that course. But I had like 2 or 3 gimmies. You never know with my putting. So to say, it shot an 80, to say it was legit, it might not be. If I had those gimmies, I didn't have any breakfast balls. But to say that, I mean, I don't know, man.
Hey, yesterday in my league,
I only lost 2 balls, which was great.
Yesterday in my league, I thought about our conversation with the putting, and I didn't 3-putt once yesterday. So I mean, maybe I told myself to have some confidence in the help.
So that is the key. All right. If you're thinking about this, and like Gary Lewandowski's the director of golf here at Tullymore. If you talk to Gary and you say, how am I going to get my score better? Besides, probably watching my swing and saying, well, you just got to change your whole swing. What he'll tell you is
I get that too.
Avoid the blow-up holes. And he'll say, stop 3-putting. Those are 2 simple ways where you can shave 4 to 5 shots off your score.
I would say that for sure. Okay. I agree with all that.
If you're shooting, and the thing that I loved most yesterday is that the worst score I got was a 6. If you're over a 6, you're not going to be breaking many of your personal records.
Amen to that.
And if you got 3 putts, if you're charting your 3 putts, you got issues. The best thing to do is to practice those 30-footers and then tap in your 3-footers. So Gary Lewandowski will help you with that if you ever come up here to Tullymore or St. Ives. All right, time for the Friday 6-pack. It's brought to you by Garage Beer. Many of the guys going out on Tullymore right now have beers in their carts. Good for them. It's 8:18 in the morning. More power to you. Fire away.
You gotta get here first.
Justin and Nick of
beer. Thank you, Homer. Yeah.
All right. He's ready for summons. Apparently, so are some of those people at Tullymore.
They are.
The first question I got for you here: snorkeling or scuba diving, or neither? Have you done either one? Which one do you prefer if you've done both?
Have not done either. The closest I came was on Black Rock in Hawaii, but I have not snorkeled and I have not scuba dived. Have you?
I've done snorkeling before. I did it in Mexico when I was a little bit younger. It was awesome. I mean, they take you out there.
What's the point of snorkeling? If you're not going low.
Yeah, but you can still see everything underneath, and it's pretty close to you. I mean, if you do like a charter one like we did, they take you out to a spot where it's supposed to be safe. I don't believe anything is really safe in the ocean, but yeah, I mean, they took us to a pretty cool spot, and you can see like barracuda and stuff like that swimming around that.
Okay.
I don't know. I couldn't normally see. So
I think you got to be careful with all that stuff. You know,
I
love
agree.
it. I love it when guides will tell you hunting or fishing. Oh, it's really safe. Animals don't care if you're Andy McDonald.
It's true.
They don't care how much money you make. They don't care what you do. They don't care if you're famous. They don't care that you just interviewed Bryce Rayner. They don't care if you shot an 80 at St. Ives. They view you as food and
Amen to
food
that.
only. So that kind of spooks me a little bit. All right, next one.
All right, we got going off that topic. Favorite type of seafood and why?
Yeah, we had yesterday. We made the turn and we got some Bam Bam shrimp here at St. Ives. I love lobster, but Bam Bam shrimp is pretty.
Shrimp
damn
on the
close.
turn? Now you're talking.
I know. I had shrimp at the turn. Yeah, it was fantastic. So I'm going to go shrimp, grilled shrimp, but I love the Bam Bam shrimp. Lobster tail with the steak is fantastic too. But I have to be realistic too. If I made Andy McDonald money, I might have lobster more often.
right.
I'll go with shrimp.
All right, number 3. I don't know where I'm getting that money from, but if you're in a pinch, what's the go-to at a gas station, food/drink wise? It's like you're in a hurry, you need something fast.
All right, so this is going to be really bad.
I love this. That's exactly what it's supposed to be.
So I'll drink the iced tea unsweetened. I grab a bag of Munchos.
Oh, that's
I
good
know.
stuff, man.
No, it's from a lot of people. It's not. Like a friend of mine, Rob Rubik, who joins us on Fridays during the NFL season. He's like, "Why do you buy those? I can't eat those." That's the reason I buy them, Rubes, because you can't eat them. So that's while I'm driving. So when I leave Tullymore today, there'll be a tear in my eye, but I'll have a bag of Munchos and an iced tea, and that'll get me through it. What about you?
I'm just if I'm in a pinch, it's usually one of those Crispinos from like a Speedway or something. That's pretty embarrassing to admit, but that's something I would do. And then just honestly, the drink can be whatever. But I'm like, if I need to wake up, it's usually a Red Bull for me. So that's the main go-to.
All right.
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Sorry. This is a random number that I came up with, but if you had 10,000 chances against the MLB pitcher, do you think you could get a hit?
Nope.
Easy enough?
Nope. I got in a debate one time in the Tigers press room where somebody said I could stand in against Joel Zamaya, and I said, as long as you brought a change of clothes.
Yeah, right.
Because you would wet yourself or poop yourself. The dude throws 100 miles an hour. Do you know what it's like to face a 93 mile an hour slider?
I remember.
Does anybody have any idea of a 90 mile an hour curveball? Because you will buckle. Trust me. You could see it 5 times in a row and you would buckle all 5 times. It is different. When I was doing reporting for the Tigers, I would be the 9th inning, 8th. I would go down about between 7th or 8th inning because you're going to jump out onto the field and do the interview. I would watch the rest of the game from the camera well. So I'm looking right at the pitcher to catcher, right? Good luck seeing it. TV doesn't do it justice at all.
I totally get it. Yeah.
All right, next.
All right, opening up another one. What's your favorite skyline view of any city?
Ooh, that's a really good one. Any city?
Yeah, it can just be
skyline of any city.
Anywhere. I would imagine in America, just because obviously.
Wow, that's a really tough one. I don't know if it's a skyline as much as it is when you overlook the bay in San Francisco.
That definitely counts in my opinion.
You're calling a baseball game in San Francisco. That's pretty special, right? Pittsburgh too. That skyline is pretty neat as well. If you're going outside
I've seen that one actually recently, and that's where I gave you the call to get this job. So I do like that skyline.
That's a beauty. Yeah. Yep. All right, last one.
Yep. All right, the last one we got. We're dropping the bottles everywhere. I don't know if you've heard of the shoes Hey Dudes. And then there's also like Crocs. Have you heard of Crocs?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hey Dudes are made by like the same thing to like slip-ons. All right, so that you already answered the question for me. I was gonna say, have you ever worn them?
No,
and
I've never
and why
worn
do you
Crocs.
not?
I
Why do you
will
not
never
like
wear
them?
Crocs. It's what grandmas wear. I'm sorry. There's nothing cool about it. There's not one cool thing about it. Okay. Flip-flops I get. Okay. Sandals to a certain extent I get. Crocs, no way. You turn in your man card if you wear Crocs.
Thank you, Matt. I needed that so bad for one of my
Simple
friends
as
who
that.
wears them. So
All right.
that wraps it up for us, though.
All right, that wraps us up for a Garage Beer 6-pack. When we come back, Todd Haley, Jim Miller. Don't forget, we've got the final results of the poll question and the daily wager. It's coming up, brought to you by Meyer.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual. Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Hey, 35 after the hour. Really fortunate here to be broadcasting live from Tullymore, and we're brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. We're joined by Super Bowl winning quarterback Jim Miller and Todd Haley, longtime head coach, longtime offensive coordinator, longtime wide receivers coach. He's done it all. He was also a college golfer at Florida, and I saw that firsthand. Both these guys outstanding yesterday. Just get off the truck, jump on the 10th tee, smack it right down the middle, and off we go. Thanks, guys. How are you?
Good to be with you.
Yeah, man.
Good to be with you.
And Matt can hit a pretty good round himself.
Every once in a while. A blind squirrel. Todd, when you played college golf, how did golf get you into football besides you being a ball boy for the Pittsburgh Steelers way back in the day?
Well, I think football got me into golf. I grew up in a football world. From a very early age, my father had finished playing and then became the personnel director for the Steelers in 1970, was part of drafting a lot of really good players, and I benefited from that, and being able to I started as a towel boy, then I moved to water boy, and ultimately a ball boy, and I was always on the visitors sideline, so I got to see the likes of Joe Montana, Dan Marino, John Elway come into Three Rivers Stadium at that time, and it was, going on college visits with my dad, watching college practices while he was scouting, him bringing home reels of old 16 millimeter film, putting it on the wall, showing me what Lynn Swann, why he thought he could be great, or Jack Lambert, why he thought he could be great. So a lot of Christmas vacations were spent at college all-star games of some sort. And I loved it. Unfortunately, in mid-high school, I couldn't play football anymore. I was taught golf by my dad at a young age. He was a self-taught player that could break 80 anywhere. I think he shot 76 at Oakmont not too long after they had played an open there. So he taught me to swing young. I didn't really pay much attention to golf. But when football was no longer an option, I played golf because I was good at that time. Not anymore, as you saw yesterday.
Not true. Not true at all. But it is interesting. Golf, I think you'll learn a lot about people. And it was nice to play with both you guys yesterday, because you always hope the people you enjoy listening to on Sirius XM radio, like both you guys, are as good a people off the air as they are on the air, and that was proven yesterday. The knowledge you guys express is so important for all of us about football, and I greatly respect it. Before we do that, though, this is the first time you've played up here, Jim, even though you're a Michigander.
Yeah.
What was your early impression of St. Ives yesterday without seeing Tullymore yesterday?
It's absolutely beautiful. Typical Michigan up north. You go anywhere up north, there's just so many beautiful places in this state. It truly is a gem. And, me growing up here, I haven't, experienced all of Upper Michigan. I get up here as much as I can. I've brought my kids to Upper Michigan, and this is a place that, I'm truly fortunate to be up here with you and Marty to invite us and enjoy this part of the great state of Michigan. And, beautiful as always.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys. I saw this yesterday. Malik Neighbors still recovering from a knee injury, a torn ACL, underwent secondary surgery to remove scar tissue, will miss 4 to 5 games to start the year for the Giants. Wow. How significant of a blow, not that we're going to talk Giants football, but how significant of a blow do you think that is in general?
Me personally, that's a big blow, especially for Jackson Dart. I think as a rookie, he had 92 receptions. So Brian Daboll was, the previous head coach was feeding the playmaker, and he was the playmaker that really emerged for them. They've got to get Cam Scatteraboo healthy too.
Yeah,
they're running back. So John Harbaugh's got a task there. He's going to try and bring back Big Blue, make it in a bruising style team. But Malik Neighbors is certainly that's a one heck of a football player.
I found it really, I just really enjoyable to hear you guys just talk football in general, and that's what you're allowed to do on Sirius XM as well. The amount of knowledge that you have, I say this probably ad nauseum, but I think football is one of those sports that everybody thinks they know and they really don't. Todd, as a guy who's put together so many game plans and worked with so many great players in your career, how long does it take for you to implement an offensive game plan? And how thick is the playbook in general for you?
It gets overplayed a little bit how thick it is because, you're doing a lot of the same things over and over again. But on the Malik Neighbors standpoint, and I'll get to my point, is I think it's huge also. I mean, this guy, I think the defense is going to be a lot better. Last year I got fooled. This year, last year I got fooled a little bit. But I think this year they're, with the new coaching staff and the addition of more good players, Arvell Reese, the defense is going to be much improved, and the offense is now the key, and Malik Neighbors is the key. And when you talk about game planning, I think you said how long, but the first thing you got to figure out is who are your best players, what do they do best, because I'm just a big believer in getting your best 11 out there as much as you possibly can. Don't make it about scheme, make it about who are the players, and then putting them in position to succeed. And with that, it means, if your best receiver is Malik Neighbors, how many different ways can we try to get the ball thrown in his direction? Because you can't always know how that's going to fall because of they can play a certain defense. But the really good quarterbacks will still force feed it a little bit because, with the receivers, it's, they gotta feel the ball coming to them early and often, and then they perform at a very high level. So, I think as far as game planning, it's, who can do what really well in situations. The red zone's going to change that some, third down's going to change that some, but, just put your guys in position to succeed as best you can.
You were known as a really tough coach, really good coach, but a tough coach too. Is that a fair label for you? And if so, why do you think you were labeled that?
I think public perception's always a little different than reality. I think as a coach, the first thing you have to do is develop trust and let the players know you really care about them being the best they can be. You care about them as people, and if you get that trust from them, then you can coach them hard. I think great players want to be coached hard. They want to be pushed to be the best they can be. And in the midterm, there's some lesser players that maybe get a little more brunt of that. But, perception, being on the camera, yelling, and then, us media people now, us, we jump all over that. But, I love coaching, and I think every player I coached understood my passionate goal was to make them the best they could be.
I had an interesting talk with General Ogianero and General Brown of the United States military. It used to be like when you train infantrymen, it was all under one umbrella. Football used to be like that it was under one umbrella. Offensive, like skill position players would do the same weight lifts as the offensive linemen. Now football is so specialized, and coaches, and Todd, you can back me up on this, coaches now are like our military. They try to find a player's go button. Some guys can be coached hard. Some other guys may need a little bit of care and coddled a little bit. But what are their go buttons to push them to be the best? And that's what I think coaches do, is they find the go buttons in each player now, at least today's modern day coach. It's not just some umbrella like it was back in the day. It really is specialized to really get the best and most out of each player.
I love that. You guys have seen so many great players and played with so many great players. It's hard to really impress you. Who do you enjoy watching most today?
Oh, man. I still enjoy it. I'm glad Aaron Rodgers came back to play another year. I mean, that guy, the way he can throw football, he is one of the, we were talking about Dan Marino last night, one of the purest passers in the National Football League history. And Aaron is like that. Aaron is just a true natural passer of the football. And for him to come back and play, and then to watch the modern quarterbacks from the guys that when I grew up playing, he brings up Montana and Elway and all the greats. But to watch guys like Patrick Mahomes, get him healthy, get him back on the field, that guy is a gem to watch. He is a gem because he's like Brett Favre that can get away with the ultimate no-nos, And I played against Brett Favre, and I'd be like, I can't believe he just did that. You're not supposed to do that versus that coverage. And he did it because he's that special of a player. And Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, we're watching Josh Allen do great things that, as Todd mentioned last night, that guy can do things at the quarterback position no guy in the NFL can do. Justin Herbert, That's a quarterback. He is a lot like Josh Allen, but we haven't seen all that he can do. But what he's capable of doing is just truly ungodly. It really is.
Since we're sitting here in beautiful Upper Michigan, I'm going to bring up Jared Goff. I think I really have enjoyed his story. You know, a number one pick, kind of pushed to the wayside, moved down to Detroit from LA Rams after helping them get to a Super Bowl. I think he's been a tremendous story. I love under center quarterback play, especially when Ben Johnson was there. We saw a lot of it, play action. I just think he's quietly a tough competitor, and I always enjoy mentally tough guys.
Yeah, I do too. It's interesting. Oftentimes in football, we gravitate toward the quarterback. No offense, Jim, and understandably so. I like watching certain players like Jack Campbell for the Lions, for example. I love watching Fred Warner. I used to love watching David DeCastro play right guard for Pittsburgh, believe it or not, because I thought he was a phenomenal player. So I like Zach Frazier for Pittsburgh. I like watching the guys inside. When you guys watch football and you watch film, how do you watch it? Do you watch it differently than people do on television where the camera takes you to the football all the time?
Yeah, you have to. And the benefit of growing up the way I did and watching film, I always tell the funny story. My dad would be, we'd be watching USC and Lynn Swan playing college football leading up to the 74 draft. And I'm watching the game on the film, and he's rewinding it because he's watching a left tackle rewind. And I just want to know if the ball got caught or not. But, you have to break. I think there is an art to watching, film the proper way. I mean, because otherwise you just start watching like we all do when we're watching games on TV. You just watch the game. But, not when I watch a game on TV, I might just be watching one particular player, and it's hard on TV, much easier on game film. But I think there's an art to it of just compartmentalizing the entire game, because there's a lot of different things going on every play, a lot of one-on-one battles. But I appreciate that you appreciate those inside guys. David DeCastro, he was a beast. If he hadn't run into injury issues, Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I mean, just could do everything. I mean, pull.
Jeff Hardings was another one. I just loved watching him. Frank Ragnow, as we talked about yesterday. How good are the Lions going to be, do you guys think?
The whole NFC North, I think, the past couple of years, they've scored the most points of any division in football. Ben Johnson obviously goes down to Chicago. They all are very good offensive-minded teams other than Minnesota. Minnesota's probably got the best defense, but to me, it's about outscoring your opponent. I think the Lions still lack defensively. The Bears still lack defensively. What helped them is they got a lot of takeaways last year defensively, which gave the offense more opportunities to score. But it's a high-scoring affair. I think it's whoever outscores their opponent, that's how it's going to emerge.
Yeah, I think I always kind of start with, coach and quarterback. And, I love Dan Campbell. I love Jared Goff. I think the Bears are coming. As Jim said, I think they got a couple late game heroics by Caleb and a ton of turnovers. But I don't think you can make a living counting on that all to happen. So I think there might be a little reset for the Bears. Sorry, Jim. But I think the Detroit Lions, if they can figure out the interior of that offensive line, because I believe the Frank Ragnow, kind of surprise retirement was huge. And I think it kind of went under the radar of how much it maybe slowed him down a little bit. I mean, it didn't slow Gibbs down or any of that, but I think if you made me pick right now, I'm going Lions, and I'm not doing that just because we're sitting here.
Do Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have to win, or at least get to a Super Bowl, for people to view them among the best, at least of their generation, or have they already accomplished that?
I personally, for both of them, their best football's ahead of them. I would think Buffalo should be able to reclaim the AFC East this year. Not that New England and Mike Vrabel didn't do a great job, but everything is in place. And that's kind of when you change the head coach to Joe Brady from McDermott, their expectations are Super Bowl. They've gotten to the championship game numerous times, haven't been able to really deplete the Kansas City Chiefs. And for Lamar, it's about health for him. If he can stay healthy and get through an entirety of a season, that's really where it is going to go for Baltimore. I really believe that, and he hasn't been able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, great quarterbacks are judged on Super Bowls. I mean, that's just the way it is. But we've seen, we've seen, Peyton Manning wait a long time for his first one, and he's obviously, one of the best ever. We've seen John Elway wait a long time because it's hard to win. To get all the way to the top of the mountain and then win, it takes more than a great quarterback, more than great coaching. You need luck, you need health. There's so many factors. This is the greatest team sport in the world, in my opinion, and that's what makes it so tough. So, Buffalo's been right on the cusp. The 13-second deal with the Chiefs, they would have had an opportunity. The fourth and one, a couple years, they would have had an opportunity. That's how close it is and how hard it is to do. And you got to, we had great teams with the Steelers when I was there, but we had this guy, Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Peyton Manning still that you got to get by and great teams. So it's really, really hard. Jim, you know that. And sometimes I think it's a little overrated that's what it's all about. The Bills have won 10, 12, 13 games. It's hard to win 13 games in the NFL, and they're doing it year in and year out, and Josh is a big part of that. So I agree with Jim. We're seeing quarterbacks play a long time. These guys take great care of themselves. Lamar, I'm a little more worried about because he's not quite built the same as some of the guys that have done it, but I think their best football's ahead of them.
One thing that Todd just said there about it being the ultimate team sport, it truly is about your 53-man roster and your practice squad, because every team's going to go through that spell of injuries. So you need to have the right 53. They may not be the best 53, but you need the right 53 to carry you through those injuries. Like when Lamar goes down, they haven't had a backup quarterback to step in and play. Yeah. Your guys got to be able to step in and win 2 out of 4 games. Let's say if it's a 4-game stretch. So it's got to be the right 53 because it's going to take everybody on the roster who's going to have to fill in at some point and play.
Guys, just greatly appreciate the stories from last night. Like you could have had a movie about that. It was fantastic and really enjoyed the company on the golf course. Look forward to it today. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you.
All the best. Great and welcome here for sure. Final results of the poll question. How'd it go, Andy?
I'll get that up for you quick here. Sorry.
Justin Verlander, is he the greatest Tiger starter ever?
It's obviously a pretty good debate. I would imagine with the way that this one went here, we have yes at 55% and 45% was no.
Yeah, some people think 55% Justin Verlander. And how'd your daily wager brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort do last night?
We got another one of those hits. Yeah, we got Mbappe getting 4 shots on goal. I'm sure these guys are loving the soccer content too as well. Yeah.
No more soccer.
So we're going to baseball tonight. I'm going to give you Sandy Alcantara to get under 6 strikeouts. They're playing against the Guardians. I think they're a really good contact team.
All right, good stuff. Thank you to Bryce Rayner for joining us. Thanks to Matt Golden for having us here at Tullymore. Todd Haley, Jim Miller, great insight on football. They're coming soon. You're going to really enjoy what they do, and make sure you follow them because if you want to know football, these are the people to talk to. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're back with you Monday morning, 6 o'clock on X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook.